this is a great honor for every fan of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm honored to be in the NFL.
What can I say? Mamba out.
All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to your Tuesday edition of the afternoon show. It is February the 11th of 2025. We have a lot of stuff to talk about here today. Of course, I'm going to be your host and producer, Logan Landis. Joining me is my co-host, co-founder of ESEN, Jay McLovin. Jay, what's up, Jay?
I'll tell you what's up, Logan.
What's up?
I came out of Facebook jail, but maybe 45 minutes later, I was right back in. I was going to say to Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, I hope you hear me. I hope you hear me clearly. Fuck you.
He's never getting on Facebook.
Look, you cannot take the freedom of speech away from somebody. If I want to share my show to other places or share shows on my network to other places, God, come on. Really? What are we doing? And to whoever was in those Facebook groups that reported me for sharing, you too.
So yeah, Jay had a stint in jail. He got out and then he got caught doing the same crime again. He might get let out for good behavior. We'll see. We'll see. His bail is a little bit high right now, but he's just going to keep on rolling. All right, and joining us after an extended vacation, weren't on yesterday. We hope you all had a good couple days off. The dynamic duo of Tony and Chris Gonzales. Guys, how's it going?
Not too bad. Been under the weather, unfortunately.
I think the Royal Rumble kicked all of our asses.
I think
we've all been sick and not feeling good since we got back.
Oh, geez. I mean, it's the time of the year, right, when the flu's going around like crazy, colds, etc.
And you get around 70,000 people.
Yeah, and you're all packed in like sardines out there in Indy. It's usually not a good recipe right there.
Hey, but it was well worth it, though, wasn't it? Come on, you guys had the time of your lives. It was
just keep drinking that Tamiflu and whatnot. You'll be good. You'll get over it in no time. Just eat some cough drops. All right, well, guys, before we get into it, if you enjoyed the show today, please like, follow, share, and subscribe. Of course, we go live every single Monday through Friday here on the channel, 2 o'clock Eastern, on our Facebook, on our YouTube, on our Twitch account as well. But you can also go and follow all of our accounts as well as the rest of our great networks accounts on our link tree in the description, of course, of all of our episodes. We have just so much stuff over there. Just take a look, and you can see all the great work we put in every single day. All right, well, guys, let's get into it. Post-Super Bowl edition now. It's Tuesday. We talked about it yesterday, so we got to talk about life after the Super Bowl. And it's already still a lot going on in the NFL world, and that is the New Orleans Saints, the only team that didn't have a head coach prior to the Super Bowl, now have their man in Kellen Moore. We all know what Kellen just came off of, and Jay, you know Kellen very well, so I'll let you have the floor first. What are your thoughts on this hire? Do you think that New Orleans made the right decision?
Yeah, first off, I just want to say congratulations to Kellen Moore. You finally got your Super Bowl. Congratulations, man. I know that's a hard thing to achieve. I didn't like you in Dallas. I still kind of have my reservations with you. I still feel like you're antiquated to a certain degree. I think you're very predictable. I think people can figure you out in a lot of ways. I will tell you this: you're not going to have that kind of talent in New Orleans, like the talent you had, in the Eagles. I got to tell you, Logan, them guys and Chris, he got away with some things because, look, you got a very talented dual threat Jalen Hurts. You have a very talented Saquon, and you got really good wide receivers and a really good guy in Goddard and a damn good offensive line. So you got a lot of things that you could play with and be successful. Quite honestly, if he would have failed with the Eagles with that type of talent, Logan, I would have said his time in the league is done. He just needs to get out, go do something else for a living. But he didn't. They dominated very well. In New Orleans, he's going to have a lot of challenges with the cap. He's going to have challenges trying to figure out who his quarterback is going to be. Is it going to be Derek Carr, or they have to move on from Derek Carr? And if so, then who's going to take over? Kamara is getting a little older, but he's still good, obviously. You do have a good young wide receiver in Olave, and you still got a halfway decent little defense over there. But you got a lot of things you're going to have to deal with this. And I will tell you this is going to be a very tricky slope for Kellen Moore. First time being a head coach, and you're going into a situation which isn't full of all the things that you would want it to be full of. So he's going to have to rebuild. He is legitimately going to put his stamp on that New Orleans team. And I'm curious to see what that stamp is going to look like. Is it going to look like the stamp that was in Dallas? Is it going to look like the stamp that was in the Chargers? Or is it going to look like the stamp that's in the Philadelphia Eagles? It's going to be interesting to see how he becomes a coach and what that means versus a coordinator. And I'm really curious to see who he gets as his coordinators, because you don't have to be the best head coach. You really don't. But as long as you have good coordinators, I think if we look at Detroit with what he had out there, even what Sirianni had, in Kellen Moore and also in Fangio, these guys have great people around. And I always said, you got to be the smartest person in the room to lead a team. You just have to manage the smartest people in the room. And if he can manage those people and they can get into a good culture and a good philosophy, then Kellen Moore can be successful. But there is a lot of what ifs surrounding Kellen Moore and this New Orleans Saints team. And it's going to be interesting as the next year or 2 or 3 unfolds. And I hope that the ownership, the Benson family, will give him the time and don't pull a New England out there like they did against Gerard Mayo. Give this guy about 3 or 4 years to really sculpt that team before you start making judgments on it. It ain't going to be no easy, quick turnaround for that team, Logan.
Yeah, Tony and Chris, same question to y'all, basically. If you're a New Orleans Saints fan, a team who has struggled in recent years, hasn't had quite the success you want to, and quite frankly is maybe one of the worst teams in really all of pro sports in salary cap, it's got to start somewhere. And do you think this is kind of a step in the right direction for this franchise and hiring Kellen Moore, a young up-and-coming guy who, granted, doesn't have any head coaching experience, but sometimes just a little shakeup like that can help a franchise sooner than later?
I don't think it's a bad hire for the Saints. Me personally, I'd rather seen the Saints go with Mike McCarthy, just because he has experience as a head coach. And with everything that the Saints need, they're in salary cap hell right now. For one, they're probably 2 seasons out from being competitive because of where they got their salary cap wise. They got to make a decision at quarterback. Are you going to try to keep Carr, or are you moving on? I think Moore will do all right, but he's never been a head coach, and as offensive coordinator, yeah, he just won a Super Bowl. But if you look at Dallas, they had some good offenses, but Dallas chose another head coach over him. Goes to the Chargers, didn't do much there as offensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. Then he got to the Eagles, and he had success again, kind of like he did in Dallas. So, I think the guys that were available, I think it's a pretty good hire. But I think I'd have went with a more guy that's experienced a head coach, just because of the tough situation he's walking into.
I just seen that the favorite for his defensive coordinator is Staley.
Yes, I think that might have actually. I don't know if that's legitimized yet, but
let's bring back the Chargers coaching staff. Was a different guy in charge.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's been confirmed yet, but I know they said he's the favorite.
Yeah, he's a leading candidate according to Adam Schefter. So nothing's official.
Chance as a head coach now.
Nothing's official, but
they're just going to switch positions.
I don't think it's a bad hire. I mean, I agree. Maybe a more experienced guy might have been better. I don't know. Like you said, they're in a. I think the main thing they got to look at, of course, the quarterback situation. Yeah. What do you guys think? Do you think they should keep Carr, or do you think they should move on?
Well, that's the thing is with Carr. Let me see how old he is, because I know he's getting up there. He's been in the league since, I think, 2013,
I want to say 30, 31.
He's been in the league around 10 years. He's 33. So, I mean, he can still play for a couple more years, right? But you don't really have any viable backups behind them. I mean, Jake Hayner, not it. Spencer Rattler, I don't think he's it. You might have to stick with Carr because of just.
I almost look at Carr as being a gap fill. Like at this point in Carr's
but that wasn't what they hired him. That was what they paid him.
I know. Trust me. I trust.
But he's not what you want.
If you look at Carr's age. And you look at all the needs of that team, it ain't going to be, like I said, it's not going to be a quick turnaround. So you got to figure, okay, even if we can get him competitive, he may be, 33, 34, 35, somewhere in that neighborhood, if they extend his contract. I mean, I just don't think he is the permanent solution. If anything, he's a gap fill at this point until they can fire the air replacement for him. I don't think it's going to be Spencer Rattler. That's for damn sure. So they're going to have to find somebody in the draft or free agency to come in and actually do that spot. You don't want to go after Kirk Cousins because again, you're not competitive right now. So all those guys are doing is just you're just wasting money on those guys, and that's even if you get Kirk Cousins healthy.
And this is where New Orleans kind of screwed themselves in a way, because if you look at Carr's contract, it wasn't awful the first 2 seasons, right? But these last couple of years is really where it gets bad. In 25, he's getting his cap hit $51 million. In 26, his cap hit is $61 million. If you would have got rid of him last season, it wouldn't have been this bad. But so I'm looking here on this on SpotTrack.com, who does a lot of the contracts and cap space, all that kind of stuff. So it's saying here is a potential out would be in 2025, 2 years, $60 million, but it's over $50 million in dead cap.
God mighty, man.
I mean,
that's a lot of money for a gap field quarterback.
Yeah, so I mean, it's dead cap, but you're still gonna have to pay the dude.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, hell, there's Bobby Bonilla still getting dead cap money on the Mets, which they might end up, if they do cut him, they might defer that money for years down the road just to help them out right now, because $50 million over 2 years is insane. Hey, but I will say credit to his agent though for getting him that deal. That's great work for them. But yeah, for New Orleans, man, they are just so their cap space. Let me check this here. Oh God, it's already bad, guys. It's already bad. So their cap allocations, I'm just gonna do a rough estimate here. I'm not listing all these numbers. So in terms of just money they've already allocated, right? Second most in the league with over $337 million.
Wow.
Okay, that's one.
Insane.
For their dead cap, they're in first already with $48 million. I mean, and that who the hell are they even paying? Oh, my God. I know.
Is Michael Thomas still in there? And in terms of dead cap money?
Jay, I will give you their top 3 leading guys in terms of cap space. How about that? Okay. So you've got a guy who I know they wish was still on the team, Marshawn Lattimore.
Yeah,
that's $31 million in dead cap. You've got over $9 million in Michael Thomas. You've also got $7 million in Jameis Winston, who's looking for a job right now. And he's advertising for it at the Super Bowl. He said, I need a job. Who wants to hire me?
Wow.
And they have a bunch of other guys that are just getting, thousands. They haven't cracked the millions yet, but it's a lot. It's a lot. So their 2025 adjusted salary cap is going to be 25th in the league with $277 million. That's just, based off contracts and stuff like that. But yeah, their dead cap is already the worst in the league. And if they cut Carr, it's going to be even worse. I mean, that would put nearly $100 million just in dead cap space. So I don't think you can trade. You can't get rid of him, I don't think. I think that who the hell would take that? You can't cut him. I mean, you're stuck with him. With Atlanta, when they eventually cut Kirk Cousins, they have the money to do that. They don't have all that dead cap space. Not like New Orleans. New Orleans, they pay just for whatever reason, they just roll out the Brinks trucks for everyone. I mean, there's a lot of guys who are getting a lot of money that probably shouldn't be getting as much. I mean, obviously Carr is the worst. He's got $51 million. It's a cap hit. Cam Jordan's 36, but he's got a $20 million cap hit. Taysom Hill, he's got $18 million. Eric McCoy, who's their 28-year-old center, that's 15. I can excuse that, right? That's fine. Demario Davis is 36, 12 mil. I mean, there's a lot of guys who are getting older, but you're paying them just an insane amount of cash. I don't know. I think they're just kind of stuck because, I mean, what do you do?
Really thought, and I thought the Cowboys, and in terms of our cap situation and finances,
you thought y'all were bad.
But damn, this is not. I mean, this is anything compared to what the Saints are going through.
No, I mean the Saints are just in pure hell. It feels like with this cap, like Chris said, they are in pure hell right now.
The thing is, I think it'll take them a couple of years or more, but we saw a similar thing in Denver, where they were in cap hell. They had an $80 million dead cap in just one player, and they were in the playoffs this year because they found the right head coach and they found the quarterback that was serviceable enough as a rookie to lead them. So I mean, it's not impossible for him to get it flipped around, but I do think it's a tough situation.
I'll tell you this, and I agree with what you're saying. I just think the reason why it's going to be so much more difficult is just because, like I think Logan said a minute ago, the lack of head coaching experience that Kellen Moore has. I mean, that's just one more obstacle that they're going to have to deal with.
And I think that might be a reason why they were the last team to hire someone. I don't know if no one was jumping to like, oh, let me go coach in New Orleans, because you have an aging team. You don't have any money to spend on free agents. I mean, you're going to have to hit good on this draft, or else it's going to be really long. What was that?
What do they draft at?
Let me check. It's going to be let's see. So currently New Orleans, they are going to be drafting, where are they at here? 9.
Okay. And Cowboys,
how high up they are. They almost be better to try to trade that pick and get more picks. They need as many picks as they can get.
I agree.
You know what they need to do? They need to hit on like second round, third round guys to do something.
And I got to see some of.
Hell, you're not going to have enough money to sign the guys. You're going to be a top 10 pick.
Yeah. I don't know why I did, but I got to see New Orleans play 4 or 5 times last year. Their offensive line was really bad, and so the offensive line's got to be one. I mean, of course, quarterback, but I mean, you may be stuck with what you have, but the offensive line's got to be their main priority.
Oh, for sure. You know, and I don't know, maybe you can get maybe a Quentin Ewers or somebody like that, you know, down around the 3rd or 4th round. You know,
I don't think he's going to drop that low.
He's not going to be your franchise guy. But
I mean, at that point, hell, just start Spencer Rattler. He's not proven, but
better than Rattler, and I would probably make Quinn.
No, I agree,
and I would let go of Rattler.
I agree, but at the same time, it ain't Rattler that's the one eating up all your money on the bench, on your quarterback room.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and I think Carr would be okay with taking with sitting on the bench. I think because he seems like a stand-up dude, but. If what they really need to just say, guys, please, for the love of God, help us. Take some money off your books. Please help us.
Right. Let me think about that for a minute. Nah.
We've seen guys take pay cuts, but my God, there's going to be a lot of guys.
I might defer it. If you want to defer it, okay. Well, I'll work on a deferment.
Hey, pay me this $50 million over the next 10 years, and we'll be cool. But so I found the total cap space for current 2025, right? So right now, the team with the most amount of cap space is Frankie in the New England Patriots. They have 122 mil available. They can spend on whoever. Up to top 5. Second is the Raiders. Third is the Commanders, which that's great for them. Fourth is going to be the Chargers, and fifth is the Chicago Bears. Now, at the very bottom of the league, the bottom 5, we'll say, New Orleans dead last with 60 million in the negative. After that, it's going to be Cleveland, 34 in the red, Seattle with 19, Buffalo with 17, and then Miami with 28 mil in the red there. So it's tough. It is tough. And and they have 48 million in dead cap. Cleveland's right behind them with 38, but Cleveland might be going up 2 with Deshaun Watson.
Man, I'm telling you, especially that whole Deshaun Watson thing. I mean,
God, that's
really going to hurt them and bite them in the butt, man. Bad.
It already has.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, they were
all that
expecting
damn guaranteed money. Oh God, that has to be. That's going to go down to like one of the worst deals ever.
Oh, it's going to.
Oh, you know what I mean?
He's played in 10 games, maybe, if that, in 2-3 years.
And the crazy thing about it is that, and it still just strikes me as crazy by Cleveland is. Look, when you were going after this guy, when he was still with the Texans, you knew all of his legal situations. You knew that he was probably going to be a head case of all this, and yet you still give him a fully guaranteed. It's like you almost saw the red flags and said, you know what? I don't care if this is a red flag. I'm going to do it anyway.
Well, I thought it was after he signed that contract when everything came out. I thought that's what it was. I thought it was like. I think what it was, Jay, is I think they had signed him already, and then all that crap came out.
I thought it was still going on while they signed him.
Maybe
I
it was
didn't think
like,
it had been resolved
I don't know
yet.
if it was public, though. I don't think it was public at that point that all that had already occurred and whatnot, all the legal issues. But I will say this. I just saw this article, and it kind of ties into our next topic here. I'll just read you the headline. The Browns free agent pitch replaces Deshaun Watson with a $114 million quarterback. Anyone want to guess who that is? An older statesman quarterback who's looking for a job right now. He might not be in the States. He might be out there in Cancun. He might be in a darkness retreat. Might be taking some ayahuasca with Jay.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. Whoever wrote this article, God bless you, because that is a hell of an idea. So Aaron Rodgers, he don't have a home. Does he find a home? I don't think he goes anywhere as a backup. I don't think he's going to do that. I don't believe that.
He is not taking a backup role. He will not do that.
But I mean, look, I think he's done for.
Yeah, I think he's
because it's a matter of what have you done for me lately. I don't care. He's won championships. You know, he got the MVP 4 or 5 years ago at this point now. That's great. But looking at the body of work he did in New York, one game, one snap in one season, and then last year was just a complete and utter mess. Would you rather take chances?
And bring his boy Devontae Adams there too, and he never could link up.
They never. No. So the real question for all these teams and GMs and whatnot: would you rather take the chance on a young 21-year-old kid, right, out of whatever college, who's young, inexperienced, and the face of a franchise, right? Or do you go with Cody? God, that would be so funny. But
that would be hilarious.
That would be insane. I don't know. Look, God, if he goes to Minnesota, Green Bay's going to hate him forever still. I don't know where he goes as a starter. I don't know where the hell he goes. Who was going to take a 42-year-old, 40-year-old now?
Maybe Tennessee, because I don't think they believe in Will Levis either.
You know, that might be the only team I could think of.
And you do got Treylon Burks there. You do got Pollard there. I mean, you have a little bit of a team to work with. It ain't much, but it's probably about the only place that really is left, honestly. Because there ain't no way. I mean, New Orleans ain't taking them. Who else is out there? I know the Raiders ain't taking them. So
I don't want them.
I didn't say you wanted them. I just said they don't have a quarterback.
God,
they don't. But
Raiders, I would literally die laughing and say, Logan, now you know how I feel when it comes to your franchise.
Hey, he can come to the Colts. I'd be 100% happy with it.
Oh, hey, there we go. Go to Indy.
I hope he does go to the Colts now. I hope you get everything you asked for on that one. Oh,
he's a top 15. He's a top 15 quarterback in the NFL. We don't have a top 15 quarterback on our team right now.
No. Let's be honest, guys. I am so sick of Aaron freaking Rodgers. That dude's a prima donna. Ain't done shit in years. You think this dude's top? Okay, why? Because he's still riding the days of yesteryear. That dude's done. He's cooked.
What did he throw for? He threw for 3,000.
You ever seen that? You ever seen Major League Baseball where the dude's out there in the outfield with the TP? He'll screw it up again. He always does.
Oh no, we suck again.
Yeah,
basically. So this past season, Rodgers threw for 3,897 yards, 8th in the league, 28 touchdowns is 7th, 11 picks, that's tied for 95th, and Jay's favorite stat, a 48 QBR, which is 25th. All for the New York Jets that didn't do anything.
And this is Gonzo. You would want to bring that there. I mean, are you really looking at him, or are you just looking at the name?
No, I'm really looking at him. He's by them stats right there. He's a top 15 quarterback in the league. By the stats I'm looking at, he was a 21st. He was the 20th ranked quarterback in the league this year. Any quarterback we have on our roster has not played that good. Did he have success in New York? No. But what quarterback has had success?
I guess. Well, I understand where you're coming
not
from.
Very many.
I don't think he moves the needle for you guys. I think you're taking on money, but you're not necessarily moving your needle anywhere where you are now. If anything, you could be setting back your needle a little bit.
It depends on what you pay for him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He'd have to have a team-friendly deal.
What are you going to pay him? Because I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to go there for chump change.
No. You think he goes 1 year? Not vet mill. He's not going vet minimum. He's not doing that. I don't think he is. But it's definitely, look, if you sign him, it has to be to a 1 year deal. It has to be to a 1 year deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
If it's anything more than that, it's I don't believe it. Also, if I'm Anthony Richardson, I'd be pissed if it's more than a 1 year deal. But
all
right, so
that's the time. It's supposed to be your team. That's what they drafted you there for. I think it more would affect his confidence level, or maybe his psyche, because maybe he'll realize that the team that drafted him has truly given up on him, and how is that going to affect him going forward, just as a player?
well, I mean, that's the thing too. Is the issues he had last year. They set him out and they brought him back. But I mean, looking at his numbers on the year, and he played. How many games did he play last year? Whatever it was, not great. He played. Oh, I can't get names. 1, 2. Whatever. He played a good bit of games last year.
I think it comes down to the money because I mean we said on here I'd like to see Fields. They've got the other quarterback from Pittsburgh to come in as competition. Carr's been mentioned. There's been other people mentioned. Is Rodgers any worse than any of those guys?
So
he's older. He's older than he's older than Fields and
people don't like Rodgers for one reason. Because he'll talk about other things besides sports, and people don't like his opinion, so they've turned on him on that. It ain't about how he plays on the field. Most people don't like him because of his opinion.
No, I don't even think it's that though.
I'm not saying you. I'm just saying most people. That's where he gets most of the hate.
Yeah, of course.
That's where he gets most of the hate is because of his opinions. They don't get most of the hate because of his play on the field. Is what I'm saying.
I just don't think he's competitive. I think he's lost his competitive touch. I really do. I mean, he can have the talent, but not have the competitive. That dog mentality. He don't have that dog in him. He's comfortable. He's very comfortable.
Well, he's gotten old.
And my thing here too. Look, and Chris, Tony, y'all know the Colts more than we do. Looking just pure offense, obviously, I think running back Taylor, I think, is better than Breece Hall. Right? I would say that. What about the wide receiver room though? That's where it could get a little bit tricky. I mean, they had Garrett Wilson. I know
we have a better offensive line in the Jets, so
yeah, because that's the things he got beat up. What up, Melvin? Yeah, he got sacked a bunch. Also, I found Richardson's stats for last year. He played in 11 games. I couldn't find that. 11 games, 1,800 yards, 8 touchdowns, 12 picks, sacked only 14 times, but had a completion percentage of 47.7. That ain't gonna cut it, brother.
What did you say? Did you say 8 touchdowns and 14 picks?
8 touchdowns, 12 picks.
8 touchdowns.
12. In his career, he has 11 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, and a completion percentage of 50.6. That's not going to cut it.
But he did run in some touchdowns.
Completion percentage.
He ran for 6 touchdowns. But I mean, at this point, he's like a great value Jalen Hurts.
Richardson.
He's not playing very many games. That's
no. But in the sample size he got, though, obviously he don't seem like the answer.
If that was 11 games, how many more?
So I'm saying, and Jay act like I'm crazy that I said I'd take Aaron Rodgers over Richardson.
I think what I meant by that was I'd just like to see Richardson get a full season, one more full season then before
because he hasn't played in a full season.
2 full seasons.
Well,
no,
when he got hurt, he got hurt again. I mean,
yeah.
And he also tapped out. So I mean, he's had 3 seasons worth of bad shit happen.
No, and look, you make a valid point. And look, I understand your frustration, man. I mean, I do. I
don't think Rodgers will end up with the Colts, but I wouldn't be mad if he did. I do think he's going to end up somewhere. Though. I think he plays next season.
I'm 50-50. I'm not sure.
That's the thing, though, is that he went to New York hoping to bring him a championship. They didn't even win the division. They didn't get to the playoffs. Does adding him to your team make him a playoff contender with the current roster y'all got right now?
To what, the Colts?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You think you win the division, or you think you get in and play on a wild card?
I think probably more wild card.
I don't know. I think we have a chance. We'd have a chance to win the division because we should have beat. We were right there to beat Houston last year.
I remember we was real close to the wild card.
I like how they feel like they're still in it to beat Houston. I like how that makes me feel good. It makes me feel good. I like nothing better than an optimistic person. I like optimism. I just don't think. I mean, I still think even if you brought him in, yeah.
That's the thing is also too, and we're talking locker room.
Yeah.
Is that going to mesh with a bunch of younger guys for the most part? Because he tried it, it didn't work obviously in New York. Because you heard a lot of chattering there. I mean, other than Green, I got to use with Green Bay forever, but it feels like his time soured there towards the end with a lot of people. Obviously, he didn't make any friends in New York.
I just feel like, with
It's
Aaron
tough.
Rodgers, I question his leadership. I question his dog-like mentality. I question his heart.
And-
he can still throw the ball. I'll give him that. He can still throw the ball.
No, he
but
can
everything
throw the
that
ball.
other components that I look for, I just don't see him feel possessing.
And Chris and Tony, and we'll wrap it up on this one. But as a fan base, right? Not just y'all two, but as a fan base of Indy and the Colts, wouldn't it feel kind of like in a way maybe just kind of rinse repeat situation for the team if you do bring in Rodgers? Because for years it was all right. We got Peyton Manning. Well, let's see what we got. Oh, Andrew Luck, sweet. Have him. And it was Phillip Rivers and Matt Ryan. Then you get Anthony Richardson for 4 games 1 year and 11 games this past year. Hasn't really moved the needle much. It's like, all right, let's go back to the old guard. Let's see what Aaron Rodgers can do. I mean, and we saw too, and this is just a recent example. I mean, like Bryce Young, right? Bryce Young struggled in this year. He got benched for a little bit. He came back. He looked great. Do you think that with a full offseason for Richardson, healthy, that if he comes into camp, comes in healthy, plays well, most importantly, he's got to improve that. If he doesn't improve that completion percentage, there's nothing y'all can do. You're cooked at that point.
Well, that and the turnover of the ball.
If you can stop the turnovers, if you can complete better passes. Look, he's got a great arm. We all know that, but you don't need to chuck it 50 yards every play. I mean, would you? I mean, I know you say you feel more comfortable with Rodgers than with Richardson, but do you think that if you do bring in Rodgers for, let's just say 1 year, hypothetically, if you're Richardson, do you think he would accept that and say, "Wait a minute, what the hell is this guy's coming in here and he's going to take my job, but I'll learn, I'll accept it, 1 year deal," or do you think he's wanting to get up out of there, like we see a lot of players do, and say, "Hey, how come I need mine? I need my playing time." And this guy who, obviously he's a Hall of Famer. There's no question about that. But is that just kind of going to rub him the wrong way? Do you think he would adapt to it?
That's why I don't think they'll bring Rodgers in. I think they will bring somebody in. They said they was going to have a competition. If Rodgers comes in, he's going to expect the job. I don't think he's going to accept. I don't think Rodgers.
He's not going to fight. He's not fighting for a job.
I don't think.
No.
Yeah, I think Rodgers is going to be named.
He would rather retire, I think, than sit on the bench.
Yeah, I think so too. So that's why I don't think he'll come there. But I do think that there's going to be a competition. I think they're going to bring somebody in, and it's going to be there's going to be a competition, and he's going to have to prove himself. And if he, I was never convinced when we got him. So, and his percentage of completing passes have not gotten better from what he did in college. It's not gotten better. So I don't have a lot of faith in him. I hope I'm wrong. No. That's about all I can say. But
so he's and we just mentioned him a little bit ago. How about another guy who's a veteran, not that quite a veteran, but still been in the league? What about Jameis Winston?
That was a lot of interceptions.
He does throw a lot of interceptions. Remember he had that 40-40 season, 40 touchdowns, 40 picks?
That was a lot of interceptions. I would prefer Fields. One of the Pittsburgh quarterbacks is what I would prefer.
And that's the thing too with Pittsburgh. Is Pittsburgh's going to have to sign one of them or get someone new because they're kind of in a weird situation here.
Weren't they in? Was it Frankie that was talking about where they were saying they were looking at trying to go after Cousins and just letting go?
Yeah, because Cousins is going to be a free agent allegedly. It looks like that's going to be a deal pretty soon.
And Pittsburgh would be a good spot for him because there are still some weapons there. They have a good defense.
You have to have a look. If this goes for Rodgers, this goes for Cousins. Those guys are older. They're in their mid-30s.
Yeah.
They don't have legs. They're not mobile. They're the old school pocket style quarterback. They don't run. Rodgers can maybe a little bit more than Cousins. Cousins is a statue. You got to have good O-line. If you don't have a good O-line, you're done for. Wilson's still mobile. Wilson still has a little bit of leg. You know, he's not in his prime anymore.
Wilson's going to be the
He
Raiders.
can still roll out if you need him to.
Did you hear that, Logan?
No.
Hey, you're getting Wilson.
I think Russell Wilson's going to end up with the Raiders, is what I think.
I mean, it would check out. Pete Carroll's there, obviously. You got that connection.
Chris,
Look,
How do you feel about it?
I will gladly take him over Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. I'll tell you that much. I'm not saying he's the key to everything, but he's a better upgrade than what we have currently.
Yeah, I'll give you that for sure.
Plus, like I say, he already knows Pete Carroll. He's probably going to use that playbook. So, I mean, he's already kind of locked in with it. But I would be okay with it. I wouldn't mind it at all. But plus, I know he'd want to get some revenge on Denver. I know that much. So
I'd be all right with Cousins, but I don't think the Colts are going.
What would be a better fit for Cousins?
I don't think the Colts are going to pay what Cousins wants.
What would be a better fit? Do you think Pittsburgh would be a better fit for Cousins or the Colts? I think the Colts would be a better fit. They got a better running back.
I think the Colts.
They got better receivers and they got a better offensive line.
Yeah, because I mean the Steelers have Najee Harris, who had a better year this year. They have George Pickens, who's their top receiver. They have Pat Freiermuth, I believe, is their tight end. He's a good tight end. But I still think the Colts will be a better option, all in all. So it wouldn't surprise me one bit if he goes to Indy and the Colts continue the trend of taking the Atlanta quarterbacks, maybe.
Yeah.
All right, let's. I think that's all the football we got today. We'll go over and talk a little bit of basketball news. Let's talk about the trade that did happen, but then didn't happen. Charlotte Hornets, Los Angeles Lakers. Lakers were expected to get big man Mark Williams from Charlotte, but he failed his physical. He didn't pass it. He's missed 60% of his games in his career in 3 seasons due to nagging injuries. And obviously that played a factor in this trade being rescinded, which is rare. You don't see that a whole lot. Both teams, or excuse me, all the players involved, all the draft picks involved have already went back to their original spots. So it's like, you kind of wash your hands with it like it never happened. So let's look at this from the side of Charlotte, who is now allegedly aiming to dispute this failed Lakers physical. Basically, they're looking at their next steps, and this is what I'm reading off of ESPN here, to challenge the Lakers' evaluation process or seek alternative resolutions with the league office. My thing here is you have a guy, he's missed over 60% of the games. He's missed, he's got a lot of back and foot injuries. I mean, you knew he was damaged goods. You ship him off, and you're surprised he doesn't pass the physical, basically. I don't see how that's the Lakers' fault. They were wanting to get him. They agreed to the trade. It wasn't like he was a free agent. They agreed, said, hey, we will trade you Dalton Connect and a couple draft picks and so on and so forth for this guy who we expect to be, a starting player potentially. And they said, oh, well, hey, his injuries came up. We don't want him. Why would you want to take a hurt player on your team? I wouldn't. Hell, I wouldn't. So I don't know what the hell Charlotte's doing. Jay, can you help me?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the guy I think he missed 60% of the time. So you're only getting a guy that's going to give you 40% of the time production. Of course you're going to fail a physical. And I understand the Hornets, they want to say, well, that's the Lakers. Maybe there's a little bias up in there. We'd like to see if we can get an independent counsel to examine him, things of that nature. And no, that's just the Hornets knowing what they shipped off to the Lakers, hoping that they would go through and
they get lucky
themselves of that liability. And now they're pissed off because they have to basically take it back. But they're excited.
Yeah, in the article it says the team is excited, in quotations, to have him back.
Oh, I'm sure they are. I'm sure they're excited.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, Tony, what do y'all think of this? I mean, it's just a weird scenario, but I mean, if you look at it, Charlotte, they're not going anywhere. They've been in the bottom of the barrel for pretty much their whole existence, it feels like. And the Lakers, meanwhile, we'll talk about them in a second, but they've on a hell of a hot streak here. So if you're Charlotte, I mean, it just feels like you can't get anywhere if you're a franchise. You can't do anything right.
I think the Lakers got to be disappointed because I think they thought they found the center of the future. I mean, he was 23 years old, still under contract for a few years, not a big money. So I think they thought they found the guy that was going to be able to help him. I mean, he's got pretty good stats when he's on the court.
Right.
Now, I didn't realize he had missed that many.
Yeah, he missed a lot of games.
Yeah, but I think they got to be disappointed because they don't.
They
still don't have a big man.
Lakers,
what was that?
Oh yeah, I mean, and that really is right there. I think where the Lakers screwed up was they waited too long to bring this guy in via trade. You know, they should have had a physical done even prior to consummating the trade. You know, trade depending on physical. You know. Because if they would have done this sooner and he filled that thing, they still could have gone after Capella out of the Hawks and brought him over. I mean, they really kind of just shortchanged themselves getting the center in free agency. Now they're just stuck with what they got and trying to ride it out. And I just, you know, it's just, to me, they really hurt themselves in the foot waiting so long to try to get Mark Williams over. Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
And see, that's the thing. I mean, look, it was one of the last trades made, too, I believe, in the deadline. But, I mean, hell, even if you got him a couple days earlier, I don't know if it would have made a big of a difference because, like I said, he still failed a physical. I mean, if he failed a physical that day, who's to say he wasn't going to fail it on a Tuesday or whatever? I mean, it's...
if they would have tackled this problem at the very beginning of it all, it don't take long to do a physical and find out if it's going to pass or fail. And if it does, then you just present it. And
I think it says like new issues that came up. I don't know what the hell it was. It hadn't been released. But it basically says that Lakers found something or something new that wasn't maybe originally there. They said, hey, let's pull this back here. So he might have been more hurt than what Charlotte let him know. Who knows?
But he could have been more hurt than what he let Charlotte know.
Right.
That could be also.
I just think from a Lakers perspective, if you know you're trading for a guy and he's missed 60% of the time, that should already have red flags up in you already.
Well, Jay, the thing is, they were probably looking at a medical report, according to the medical report they were looking at, they must have thought that he was moving in the right direction, healing. Well, then when they got him there for the physical, they found something they didn't like. But one of the reasons they waited till it took so long ago is because they didn't decide they were going to do any of this trade till after the Luka thing happened. So, right. And by the time that happened, they only had a couple of days.
And that was in secrecy. So that was something that no one knew about.
So they were kind of waiting on that to drop before they done something with this. And then, of course, they only had a day or two. And then all those trades are as long as you pass the physical and all that. And then, of course, they must have found something they didn't like, and that they didn't see on the medical reports that they were given.
I just think, usually in my opinion, good teams always have, or good GMs. Let's put it on the GM, right? Good GMs always have a plan A and a plan B. So if plan A goes to shit, you can always turn over to plan B, and it still leaves you an out, or it still leaves you a good product or something. And they just didn't give themselves enough time to look for a plan B. Or they didn't even have a plan B in start, They
can still pick up
I
some.
don't know. That's just a lot.
They can still get someone from free agency or from waivers. I mean, hell, guys are still getting waived.
Well, yeah, but they'd have to get cut. They're not going to get them via trade. So now they got to look at wherever.
No, you can't. Yeah, you can't get it via trade.
Maybe they go after Dwight Howard. I mean, is it too far fetched to try to go after him and see what he can?
Hell, he's in like Taiwan, man.
Yeah, you're right, because he wouldn't take a flight to go back and be with the Lakers. He wouldn't do that.
No, I'm just saying. I don't even know if I'm sure he's playing. He's overseas though. I don't even know how that works.
But McGee's still out there.
Yeah, Dwight. Yeah, I know you out there, Taiwan killer. But on this free cell phone call that I'm making to you, you want to come to play for the Lakers? Yeah, I know you got enough money. Get your little ticket. Come on out here. Let's go.
So I'm reading a tweet here on this, and this is from Trevor Lane. Is the account? And he's with the Lakers. He hosts a podcast with them. He says he can make two arguments on Mark Williams. For Charlotte is why would they dispute it if they didn't feel like they have a strong case shine more of a light on Mark Williams' health for no reason. Think Los Angeles got cold feet when they realized they overpaid. For Los Angeles, wouldn't overpaying a little bit be far preferable to playing the rest of the season with only Jackson Hayes at center? LeBron's 40. If his medicals were fine, you would rather accept that you overpaid a little bit. Basically, it's saying, did Charlotte try to pull one over on LA, or did LA try to back out of a done deal? Is kind of what it's saying here. It's kind of like a he said, she said type deal with just team reps. But I'm kind of leaning more so on the side of this guy was more hurt than what it was led on to be. That's kind of what it seems like. Because, I mean, I can't recall a case where it's like, you know what? We don't want this guy anymore. we don't want to have him. I don't understand that.
That's true. But, I mean, when you stop and think about what they gave up and the fact that he had missed that many games, could they have had second thoughts?
I mean, they could, but but that's the thing, though, is the Lakers were the ones who were wanting this trade.
That's true.
They were the ones who needed a center. Charlotte didn't need these guys. They didn't, I mean, I'm sure, Dalton Connect and Cam Reddish, those are nice pieces, yeah. But, I mean, Charlotte's not going anywhere.
No.
LA's going to make the playoffs. And this was, another piece they could have added, but like I said, just failed physical, and it's all for naught, basically. So,
how do you feel for your the two guys from the Lakers that got traded? Hey, we don't want you anymore, but now, hey, okay, you're back with the team.
Well, Cam Reddish is someone who I know very well. He played in Atlanta, got passed around from time to time. He's just like, that's another day in the office. Dalton Connect, he's a rookie, so he's still trying to figure out his way to the arena, I think. So I think they'll take it in stride. Maybe 5 years from now, we'll hear something about it if they leave the team. But I think for now that it'll kind of be just business as usual. And for Mark Williams, unfortunately, Killer, you got to go back to Charlotte. So back to another losing season and a nice off season in Cancun or Taiwan or wherever you want to go. That's on the horizon. All right, we mentioned the Lakers. Might as well talk about the big news with the Lakers, and that's Luka made his debut last night with LA. They got the blowout win over the Utah Jazz, as they rightfully should have. Final score in that game, if I can get it pulled up here, because all the stats have just left ESPN here, so I need to go and search it. But they won last night. Final score was LA 132, Utah 113. Leading scorer on the night was Austin Reeves, who, as we know, had that 45-point performance not too long ago. Luka in his debut with LA shot 5 of 14, struggled from the arc, 1 of 7 from 3. He did end up with 14 points, plus minus of 15, 4 assists, 5 rebounds. But hell, I mean, they had their entire starting 5 scored in double figures, as well as 2 guys off the bench. So, I mean, Luka struggled from the arc, but hey, he made his debut.
No. We're not making excuses now. We're not making excuses for Luka. That man went in there against a 12-40 Jazz, who are depleted of talent, and yet only gets 14 points. Come on, dude. This is not what you were traded for. This is not what you were traded for. I did not ask you to come over here and be mediocre. Well, I was a little nervous. No, you're not nervous. You're a freaking professional. Shut the
Jay, did you expect a 40-point performance in night one?
You know what? I expected at least 20. 20, and maybe a good line for him would have been 20, maybe 8 rebounds, 4 or 5 assists. Because he has correct me if I'm wrong, I think he's playing the point guard position right now for the Lakers. So I expected a good assist total, a good amount of rebound. But no, man, that is not the kind of debut. It's just lackadaisical. It doesn't move the needle for me.
So Jay's giving the debut an F+. Tony and Chris, what do you think?
It's kind of hard to judge. I mean, well, plus he'd been out for a while too, right? He hadn't been playing.
That's his first game since, I think, Christmas.
Yeah, so I mean,
that man was 5 of 14.
That's first. If he'd been playing and get traded, I would agree with Jay. But in his first game back since Christmas, I don't agree with
too much leeway. Damn.
Yeah, give this fat slob his credit.
Tony,
I mean, he hadn't played. Jay, he hadn't played for 6 weeks.
And come on, he expects 30.
And he didn't need to score. I mean, they're playing the worst team in the league, or one of the worst teams in the league.
I gave his debut an A+.
No, I'll give it a C.
A++, just for Jay.
I'll give it a C.
So look, Jay, we all have off nights, but not for
No.
No, I honestly,
It's a tune-up game for
honestly,
him.
it was a.
He's got one on Wednesday against him.
Honestly, it was a. I mean, I didn't think he didn't have a great night.
No.
I thought he had a solid night considering that he hadn't played since December. First time being just getting to the Lakers. First time playing with that starting five.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a big problem with it. I wouldn't expect him to go in and have 40 his first night.
I'm not asking for 40, but damn, you can't give me at least 50%. You can't give me 50% at the field goal percentage. You can't give me at least 50. You go below 50.
What game? What game?
Okay. I guess my standards for the league is just too
I wouldn't want Jay to be my fucking basketball coach. I want that game. He's going to get rid of me for the whole season. Oh, you only had 14 points.
He's a fucking bust.
You didn't get 20 points
It's
today.
not about the 14 points. It's 5 of 14 for crying out loud.
It's 35.7% from the field.
Thank you.
Sometimes you have a bad shooting night.
From the free throw line.
He averages 46% from the field, which is 74th in the league, but he takes a lot of shots, obviously. Ain't no one shooting 50% from the field,
So you
not unless you're Giannis.
Defense. Oh no, wait! You can't play defense, and you give me 37% from field goal.
But they won.
They
won.
Maybe a little bit more. I'm sorry. Maybe my expectations are too high. Maybe the fact that he's a multi-billionaire. I expect more out of it. I'm sorry. Maybe I just expect more. Tony. Look. These right. Look. Your son and Logan. God rest their soul.
Bob Cousy would have done this back in '63. I swear to God.
Tony, we come back from the Gen X society. Come on now, Tony. Gen X, baby.
Well, I'll give it a C. I'm not giving it an F. I'll give it a C.
I give it a C. Is fine. C
it's one game.
They win. They won the game. It wasn't like they lost. If they lost, it would have been something else. But they won.
Next 5 games, he shoots 35%. Then I think you're onto something. But gotta give more time.
Then you can call him a fat slob, Tony. Then
that's
a little.
If I went to work, if I was in work,
and you shot
if I gave my job 37% effort, I'm pretty sure.
On your first day, though, Jay? On your first day?
No, it's not my first day.
It was your first day.
I'm going for look, watch this. I'll tell you right now. I can go from Home Depot as a manager and go to Lowe's as a manager. Guess what? Paint still paint. It ain't gonna change. Selling it ain't gonna change.
But it's in different spots, though.
Shut your pie hole.
It's not in the same spot.
Shut your pie hole. Shush. Shush. No, I'm not gonna let you say that, Logan, because look, we don't demand enough from these athletes. We give them all the money in the world, but yet we give them all the excuses to go along with it. Jay, I'm sorry, I just don't buy it.
We don't demand enough from these athletes, and you want to kill somebody because 37%. But in the great game of baseball, if somebody hits the ball 30% of the time, they're considered the best. They're considered great.
Really? Okay, I tell you what. Why don't you throw some raspberries in with those fruit and apples and oranges? I'm sorry. Can we stay with the same fruit group?
No, we're the same fruit group. You went and talked about a regular job and compared it to the NBA and shoot 37%. Now come on.
Okay, if I'm a wrestler and only 2% of the time I can convert a DDT. What are we doing?
That's what you just did when you said if you worked at a store.
Hey, Jay, I work at Walmart, and 37% of most of the lazy ass fuckers we have would be great. Because most of them can't do 37%, so that'd be a real great average.
Okay, Gonzo, watch this. I'm gonna put it. Okay, you deliver. You're an Uber eater. Okay, so 37% of the time you might get those Uber Eats to the door. But hey, listen, I haven't driven my car in 2 weeks. So I forgot what
Hey, Jay.
That's not even comparable, dude.
I got a rebuttal, Jay. I found a rebuttal here for you, brother. And this involves the Rockets. Do you want to know who shot 36.8% last night in the win against the Toronto Raptors? That's Jalen Green. That's your top player. Your top player shot worse than Luka, and they still won. What would you rate his night?
I'd say trade him, Jay.
Yeah, send him to the Pacers.
Pacers take him.
I'll also take him.
I'll say the same thing about Jalen Green. Jalen, you spent all that time in the G League. You ain't got no excuse. You're out there. You're preaching league. Come on.
Wow.
So we can agree.
Look.
Luka had a bad night.
I'll tell you that.
What was that?
Look, I'll tell Jalen Green, you suck. Bro, you suck right now. You suck. And Jalen Green, I hope you hear me. By the way, I would like to do an autograph at full price.
Oh, yeah, of course. And Luka, if you want to send us
not.
a signed jersey, we'll take that too.
I'm sure Luka's going to send us a signed jersey.
I'm sure he's listening every day. But
I just think we don't demand enough for these athletes. They get so many free passes. It's like, come on, man. This is your job. You're paid exorbitant amount of money to go out there and do that job. I'm sorry. I guess I require too much.
Guys, Ingram just got a big contract extension.
with who?
Toronto.
Oh, God, they signed him? They signed him. Okay.
$120 million contract extension. 3 years.
Wow.
Wait,
Okay.
Who got this?
Brandon Ingram.
Oh, that's right. He was literally just traded this guy. Wow. Well, he got the payday. He got the bag.
Yeah. Player option 27-28. And of course, we know his agent is Rich Paul. So the rich get richer.
Yeah, they do.
But Ingram has also not played since December. Damn! Imagine how good it must be.
Hope he scores more than 14 points in his debut.
You know what? We'll track that.
We'll
track that.
Brandon, you're on notice. You better go out there.
So Ingram. No, imagine this though. And Jay, you can go back on your rant again for this. Ingram hasn't played since December 7th due to ankle sprain. He got traded, and then they said, "You know what? Here's all the money. You haven't even played a minute with the Raptors. We're going to give you all this money." To me, that's risky. I think he's a good talent. And that is so risky.
I guess I get it, man. We do live in a world now where honestly we throw money around in the entertainment world like it's nobody's business, right? I mean, it happens all over the place. We really do. We throw money around like it. I remember, Tony, you remember that back in the day in baseball. You know, if you made more than $7 million and you're a major star, that was big time money. Now these cats are getting hundreds and hundreds of million, and it's like, damn, wow. I mean, I remember when baseball used to be super cheap on their payroll, and now it's way out there. It's way out. And basketball is probably one of the worst. Basketball and football. I mean, they are the
baseball is probably the worst with money. If you make let me say this: if you make it to the major leagues, and odds are you're going to get a lot of money. I feel like the NBA pays a lot of role players a lot of money, guys who shouldn't be maybe getting as much as they do. I mean, hell, what was it? Whenever like Udonis Haslem and what the hell was the guy in LA? Luol Deng got like $70 million. All that happened.
See, in baseball, it's more of the top. It's more of the top guys.
The top stars get a lot of money.
Big money, and then don't get me wrong, other guys make
a lot of money.
They're not making the big money. Where in the NBA, it seems like everybody can make big money now.
I mean, I understand that because if you look at the average, what they call the average mean player, what he gets, those big contracts do factor into some of that. So it does look a little bit more than what it really truly is. But still, man, we didn't see those kind of $1 billion athlete. We didn't see that in baseball. We never saw that in baseball. And there's been a hell of a lot of good players come through the world of baseball that don't make that kind of money.
I mean, for years we thought it was going to be Mike Trout. We thought it was going to be Trout. We thought it was going to be Harper. Wasn't them. They still got a lot of money. But Ohtani, he's right there. He's close enough. No one signed for that $1 billion yet, but he's damn close to it. Juan Soto didn't sign for $1 billion, but I mean, on the base contract,
he got 700. I mean, no, he didn't sign for no chump change.
No, Soto signed 15-year, $765 million.
Yeah, only hits the ball 30% of the time. There's no way he should get paid that much money.
Hell, he doesn't even swing the bat much.
But when you look at baseball, though, that's the difference. When you look at seriously, baseball. A 316 average in baseball is MVP numbers. At 37% in NBA is not MVP numbers. 37% is like Luka going out there and batting 165.
Here's the difference, Jay. Here's the difference. Batting 316 in baseball, that's for the whole season. Him shooting 37% was for one game. What's his percentage for the whole season? You got to go by the whole season. You can't go by one game. especially his first game on a new team.
Well,
Or
like,
about
I'll tell you whose fault it was he had a bad game. It was LeBron James's fault he had a bad game because LeBron they were fighting over the ball.
in the 20-point win, yeah. Against one of the worst teams in the league. Definitely. Jeez.
Let's be honest though. I mean, I know Frankie's all excited about his Lakers. I think he unrealistically thinks that his team is going to be competitive for the title, but we all know the Lakers are competitive for no damn title.
The biggest difference though in them sports is baseball is a game of failure. You fail more in baseball than what you succeed.
Don't come over here and trying to say one thing and then come back and say another.
I've always said that. I've always said baseball is a game of failure. I was just using that because of your point when you tried to say talk about Walmart workers at 37% or something. It's like you
I
can't
didn't say
compare
Walmart.
different.
That was Tony that said Walmart.
Walmart regular workers.
I love Walmart. I fully support y'all.
Walmart's a bad, 37% would be great at Walmart.
Hey, and look,
there was a time though. I would say there was a time when I worked for Walmart too before I went on my second stint in the military. I did it just for a little gap fill job. And I was stocking, and they gave you the metric, and you had to stock so much in so much time. And there was a lot of people that weren't meeting that metric, Tony. So I totally agree with you. I mean, it's not hard to stock a shelf.
Oh yeah.
You can make percentages and numbers look however you want to.
Well, that's true, but 5 for 14 is still 5 for 14, or 5 for 12, 5 for 12. I mean, there's no way to manipulate that. It is what it is.
But let me ask you this: so after one game, they should trade him back to Dallas.
I mean, NFL plays what, 17, 18 games?
Hey, I'm glad you said that. I bet Nico Hudson wouldn't mind taking him back right now, given what's going on in Dallas.
Yeah.
And we didn't even mention that.
NBA play 82.
Hey, did y'all hear what's going on in Dallas?
So Nico Harrison, he's got security. Fans are saying fire him. It's bad. It is so bad. Oh, Dallas won. Dallas, did they win or lose last night? They lost, but
yeah.
Hey, Anthony, we got to mention this here, and we'll wrap it up after this. Anthony Davis, he's going to be out for a few weeks. We don't know how long exactly with a left adductor strain he suffered in his first game with the Mavericks. He put up, I think, 25 and 6. He put up really good numbers, but he got hurt. So he got rated a did not complete in his assignment.
Let me say one thing. How are you going to fire a man? I'm going back to this. How are you going to not fire a man? How are you going to eject a fan for holding up a sign that said "Fire Nico"? Listen, that's just saying a sign. That should be. I don't know how you're going to eject a man for that. And if you are going to eject a man, go find the guy in security that let that sign in the first damn place. Just saying.
I got a question for you guys, real quick. What do you think about Golden State? I mean, they put it on to Milwaukee last night.
Milwaukee's in a weird situation,
Yeah, that team is.
Milwaukee's and Giannis is hurt too. Giannis is going to miss the All-Star game. Trae Young subbed in for him. They picked up Kyle Kuzma, which I don't know if that's going to be a good fit. But obviously they needed a shooter. You gave up Middleton, he's getting older, I think. I don't know how old he is, but he's not young. He got shipped to Washington, for God's sake, so bless him. It's going to be a rough rest of the year, brother. But Milwaukee's in a tough situation. And we've said that since they hired Doc Rivers. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
We all of us questioned that. And they still, I mean, they're not having an awful year, right? But they're not blowing teams out. They're not, just dominating the league. But so in the standings right now, Milwaukee sits at 5th. So, I mean, they're still a playoff team, but the East is a weak conference. There's no denying that. I mean, this is a team that could easily, I think, get bounced in the first round. I wouldn't be shocked by it. I just don't know if they have a complete team right now. They have Giannis, which is great. We know how good Giannis is, but, I mean, the rest of that roster, I got question marks for. I mean, Kyle Kuzma is a good player. Damian Lillard, I think, is still a really good point guard, really good player. He's a streaky shooter. He's either hitting for 40 or he's not.
I understand why you trade Middleton, because Middleton is getting older. He's not shooting his ball. But I thought they could have got a little bit better than Kuzma. I don't know. I think when I look at Kuzma, I think more of a role player.
Well, Kuzma's numbers on the year, not great. 15 points, 5 rebounds, shoots 42% from the field.
Yeah. That's
I mean,
a good
so
role player number.
He's not your like number one option. We know, and his 3-point percentages went down pretty much every single year. He shoots only 26% from the three, and he shoots anywhere from 1 to 5 per game. I mean, he's a good bench player, a good scorer if you need a bucket or two. But I mean, it's really about it. And Milwaukee, they have a lot of guys who I don't really know much about. So I can't confidently say if they're good or not. But I mean, they have pretty much. I mean, they have like a younger team with a couple of vets mixed in there. So it's not like they're all young, but I just don't know. I'm not swayed by them this year. I don't know what they need to do, but I'm not feeling like, oh, this is a playoff team, or excuse me, this is a championship. Hell no, I don't think that.
They haven't been the same since they got rid of that coach.
They got rid of
yeah.
Well,
I mean, who's really a Doc Rivers fan, to be honest with you? I mean, I'm not a Doc Rivers man by any means. I think he got lucky with the Garnett and Paul Pierce and Ray Allen led Minnesota.
20 years
Boston
ago.
That's
20 years
that's
ago.
been a long time.
And I will say one of the biggest travesties, he never won a ring with the Clippers when he had all that talent. You had Chris Paul in his prime. You had Blake Griffin in his prime. I mean, hell, you had DeAndre Jordan, who was a really good center for many years, great defensive guy. They couldn't win a ring. And then you go – he wasn't with there with Paul George and them, but –
it's Clipper organization. They're always like that stepchild.
They're saying that
stepchild of the Lakers, man. They can't get past that.
They're saying that the fan got ejected because of the NBA's code of conduct. So it sounds like it wouldn't.
It wasn't a team thing. It was a league-wide type deal.
I'm sorry. If we can't say fire, if we can't bring in a sign that just says fire somebody, what are we doing, man? I get it. Code of conduct.
Let me ask you this, and this is a serious question because I haven't been to an NBA game in a long time. Do people take a lot of signs into basketball games now?
I don't think so. I'm sure there's a couple, but this is where I wish
when I used to go to games.
I'm just asking,
when I used to go to games, I never really noticed people holding a whole lot of signs up. That was more like at
wrestling,
like at pro wrestling and stuff like that. So I was just wondering, like, I didn't even know if you were allowed to bring in big signs like that.
And that's just now coming back with wrestling. They had curbed that.
No, I have. When I went to a couple of Rockets games, I don't go to a lot of Rockets games because it's expensive to go. But when I have gone, I have seen them hold signs a couple of times. I mean, it's like a million of them. It's just one here or one there. But
I'm just asking. Like I said, I didn't know if I didn't know if there was rules against it or what it was because.
I mean, I understand, like, if you're down there like John Morant's dad, T. Morant, and you're down there scrutinize the refs and you're causing issues, or if you're some belligerent guy up there doing something belligerent or, causing harm or something. Okay, I get ejecting people out for that kind of stuff. I get all that. But if I'm just holding up a sign that says fire my manager because I don't like him, come on, man. I mean, that's just taking away your freedom of speech. I don't like that bullshit.
My thing is, why couldn't you just, if you didn't want them to have the sign, say, hey, you can't have that sign, but why you got to kick them out of the game?
Yeah.
Take away a sign. Say, hey, look, if you want to stay here, give me the sign.
This is against NBA rules. You can't have a sign here. You either have to get rid of or
I
or
think they
you have
go
to
too
leave.
far, man. They go way too far. Eject these people over that kind of stuff.
I'll be honest with you. I've never been a big fan of having signs at the games like that, and it has nothing to do with what they say on it or anything. If I pay $300 for a ticket to watch the game, I don't want somebody in front of me with a big ass cardboard poster, and that's all I see is the back of it the whole night.
I'm with you on that.
That's my only thing about signs.
I'm with you.
Want to have an
that's my only thing about signs.
Or if you want to hold your sign, go to the very back.
That was my only thing ever about signs. Like, you pay a lot of money for tickets. I don't want to be seeing the back of somebody's poster board.
No, not for the whole night. No. But that's. I think we'll put a bow on today's show with that.
Wrestling games, though, because you pay a lot of money for those wrestling tickets too.
Well, like he said, wrestling just like WB they're just now starting to allow it back a lot more again. They had cut a lot of that out. But like at Royal Rumble, they were encouraging fans to make signs and bring them.
I'm sure Attitude Era shows must have sucked to go to because my God, there was a million signs in there. It felt like Like, Jay, it was packed. Like, they would always do a shot to start the show of all the signs in the arena. And, dude, it looked like it was just a sea of sign. There weren't even people there. That's just how many signs they had, just with whatever the hell it was. Especially the ones that, like, spell out names, like Austin or whatever. You know what I mean? Just an individual letter that stretches across a group of people. But, I mean, I think for the NBA, most of the times I just see is just not even, like, you see a couple of signs, but mostly it's just like, oh, I traveled here from China to watch LeBron play, or it's just a post, a photo of someone's head. It's like Miles Turner's head. I think Glenn's held that one up before. It's just like, all right, cool, go ahead. But I've never wanted to go to a basketball like, man, let me bring the sign that says "Go Hawks."
That's what I'm saying. I didn't bring no signs because, like I said, I don't have time to bring all that crap.
I go to a game. I don't want to have to hold on to anything like that. I want to be able to chill.
Yeah, I'm about to say, you want to grab your drinks. You want to, you got to bring it home. You know,
I got beer. I got hot dog. Yeah, fuck the sign.
There's no room for the sign. Yeah,
no
sign, no room for it. Yeah, but
and I can't hold the middle finger when I got a sign. So no.
I'll say this and then we'll end the show. I remember I went to WrestleMania in Atlanta back in 2011, one of the worst ones ever, unfortunately. But I remember we were there for some match, and you got food in the arena, and there was a guy next to me and my dad who he had gotten a pizza, and he didn't have a sign. So what he did is he had I guess he had borrowed an expo marker, and he tore off the pizza box, the top of it, and just wrote I think it was like Undertaker 16-0 or whatever it was that year. He's like, yeah, I got my sign, hell yeah. I'm like, that's dedication right there, brother. I like that one. I like it, but yeah, that'll do it for the show. I think we'll wrap it up there. Bit of of a weird week this week. Not a whole lot of big sports stuff going on. People gearing up for the All-Star break in the NBA. Same with the NHL. Of course, pitchers and catchers have reported for spring training. Love to see that. No games have been played as of yet, but I know all the local high schools here started their season yesterday. So baseball's back in the swing of things. And my God, I will just say, for the folks watching live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, whenever baseball season kicks in, that's when all of us kind of flip a switch and become different monsters, because that is daily content, basically. And Jay is going to roast all of his Astros, Alex Bregman or not, and just, it's going to be beautiful. Especially whenever we all face each other, because look, Tony, Chris, y'all got the Reds in the National League. I got Atlanta in the National League. And, of course, we know the historic rivalry with Jay and Frankie in the American League. So that'll be that's going to be fun this year.
Again.
Afternoon show is going to be a lot of baseball here in the next couple of weeks and months, and it's going to be fun. A lot of heated debates, I'm sure. But we love baseball. We love all the sports, obviously, but baseball is just special for all of us. It's a fun sport, but it's going to be fun, though. But, hey, appreciate y'all for checking the show out today. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. If you want to find all of our spots, though, that's in our link tree in the description. Once again, for my co-host today, Jay McLevin, appreciate you coming on. And, of course, Tony and Chris Gonzales. Go follow all their stuff. Gonzo Sports Room, Gonzo Wrestling Room, Facebook, YouTube, and wherever else y'all are at. We appreciate all the love support for all of our people today on Facebook and YouTube, like our guy Cody, Melvin, Jonathan, and, of course, look who's showing up here with some late-breaking news to end the show. Frankie Cruz Jr. Matt Patricia is the new Ohio State defensive coordinator. So that is how we'll end it there. Interesting. Definitely, I think he's one of those guys, better coordinator than a coach, that's for sure. We'll see how he does. He's going to get a hell of a roster, so we'll see what he can do with it. But it'll be interesting to see. But, guys, enjoy the rest of your afternoons. We'll see you again tomorrow on the afternoon show at 2.